Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Oxnard Planning Commission for Thursday, March 2, 2023. This meeting will come to order at 6:01 p.m. The public may view the meeting from home on the city's website, Spectrum Channel 10, Frontier Channel 35, or on the city's YouTube website. To participate in the meeting, the public may provide comments to the Planning Commission via email at planning@oxnard.org no later than 3 p.m. on the day of the meeting, or through the city's website, or call the Planning Division office. Additionally, those wishing to speak can dial the phone number listed at the bottom of the screen, follow the instructions to access the meeting, and press star 9 to raise your hand, indicating your intention to speak on the agenda item being discussed. Because the meeting is electronic, all votes, if any, will be recorded by roll call. Madam Secretary, can we please have the roll call?
Chair Arrejo.
Here.
Vice Chair Stewart.
Here.
Commissioner Chavez.
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
Here.
Commissioner Nash.
Here.
Commissioner Sealsdorf.
Here.
Commissioner Connolly is absent, and we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We will now move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Nash, will you kindly lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please rise, put your hand over your heart, and recite with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. The next agenda item is C, public comments on items not on the agenda. At this time, a person may address the Planning Commission on matters within the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission, including information, consent items, and any item not appearing on the agenda. The Planning Commission cannot take action on any item presented during public comments that is not in the agenda, and such item may only be referred to the Commission Secretary. Persons wishing to speak on public hearing items should do so at the time of the public hearing. Madam Secretary, are there any public comments for items not on the agenda?
No, we have no speakers.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We will now move on past agenda item D, consent agenda, since there are no items, and go directly to agenda item E, ex parte declarations for public hearing items. Please state any ex parte declarations, if any, and we'll go across the dais. Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
None, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Chavez.
None, thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Stewart.
None, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Nash.
None, thank you.
Thank you. And Commissioner Zilsdorf.
None, thank you.
And thank you, and none for me. Now we'll go on to section F, public hearing. At this time, the public hearing F1, I'm going to ask staff for brief comments in regards to this item.
Chair Rejo and Commissioners, as staff is continuing to work to refine the analysis associated with the inclusionary ordinance, staff is requesting that the Commission open the public hearing and then continue the item to the April 6th Planning Commission meeting. The notice did originally say March 13th, but staff is requesting some additional time. So again, we request that you continue it to the April 6th, 2023 Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson. If I got that correctly, we should open the public hearing and then move for that recommended action by staff.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pearson. Agenda F1 is the update of the city's inclusionary housing ordinance. The project implements the City of Oxnard certified and adopted amended 21 to 29 Housing Element Program 10 that calls for an update to and codification of the city's inclusionary housing ordinance, filed by the City of Oxnard, Long Range Planning and Sustainability Division, and the Housing Department, City Staff Kathleen Mallory, with staff already providing comments. And no presentation. I'm going to ask if there's any questions from the Commission at this moment. Commissioner Nash.
Seeing no questions, if I hear correctly, I move to open the public hearing and then continue it to the Planning Commission meeting of March 16th, 2023.
It has been moved by Commissioner Nash to open the public hearing and postpone this until the next Planning Commission date of March 16. Is there a second?
Correction, I believe staff said April 2nd or April 6th.
Sorry, yes, to correct it, it should be April 6th. The
And I'll
memo originally said March 16th, but after the publication of the packet, we are requesting an additional 2 weeks or a few weeks to the April 6th hearing.
Could I have that date again, please?
Sorry, April 6th, 2023.
Okay, thank you. I amend or correct my motion to continue it to April 6th, 2023.
And I'll second.
Okay, thank you. And with that correction by Nash, a second by Commissioner Chavez, is there any further debate on this motion? Seeing and hearing none, Madam Secretary, can we please have the roll call?
Commissioner Nash,
Aye.
Commissioner Chavez,
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez,
Aye.
Commissioner Seelsdorf,
Aye.
Vice Chair Stewart,
Yes.
Chair Arejo,
Aye.
motion passes.
Thank you very much. We'll move on, to agenda item F2, Seafood City Planning and Zoning Permit Number 22-510-03, Special Use Permit Alcohol License 2340 North Rose Avenue, a request to allow the sales of beer, wine, and distilled spirits for consumption off the premises for ABC License Type 21, off-sale general, within an existing 37,729 square foot grocery store building located at 2340 North Rose Avenue in the general commercial C2 zone. Standard hours of alcohol sales and consumption are 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. The facility proposes to operate Monday through Sunday from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. Filed by Steve Rawling on behalf of Seafood City, business owner, and city staff. For this item is Juan Carlos Torres, associate planner. Does staff wish to provide a summary or additional analysis at this time?
Yes, good evening, Chair Arrejo and members of the Plan Commission. After we published the item to the public, the Planning Division and the applicant, including the Police Department, we worked closely with the conditions of approval, and we had some revisions. Those revisions were provided to you guys for your review. And I can go over the changes as follows. On page 5, first sentence of the first paragraph, it was changed to read as follows. The project site is currently served by an existing infrastructure, which includes North Rose Avenue and Lockwood Street, both in which connects to multiple arterial streets. The changes were to remove Oxnard Boulevard and West 7th Street from that paragraph and added North Rose Avenue and Lockwood. On page 9 of the resolution, the conditions 16 and 17, we combined those two conditions, and we obviously, because it was a continuation of condition 16. On page 12 of the resolution, condition number 26 was eliminated. The reason this condition was eliminated was because this condition typically applies to convenience stores, and we didn't feel that, the supermarket will be applicable for this. Also on page 12, condition number 29, the condition was modified to replace shall with should. As you've seen on the strikeout. And on page 14 of the resolution, condition number 46 was eliminated, and same thing, this condition, it was typically for convenience stores. And other than that, I also wanted to clarify that the proposed project is for an alcohol license for Seafood City. It's strictly for the off-sales, and there will be no on-site consumption.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. I believe I missed one of your condition of approval amendments, just for the record. I have in Resolution Section 1, Part 4, condition of approval 17, 26, and 46. I missed the number in regards to the should or would amendment.
Yeah, that's condition, it's on page 12, condition number 29. And the condition reads as follows: the permittee, and it has shall, and that was to be replaced with should, equip each point of sale with a silent robbery alarm that complies with the Oxnard City Ordinance number 2601, or develop and implement a critical incident protocol that provides an efficient method for alerting police and other potential threats without unnecessary putting the employees at risk.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. I believe that's all. Is there any, if there's no additional comment from staff, and if there's no objection, we will have the applicant, if they're available, to present at this time, if there's any. And sir, if we could just have your name for the record, and you have 10 minutes.
Terrific. Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Steve Rawlings. I am here on behalf of Seafood City. For the record, I want to say that I do concur with the staff's recommendation, and we do agree to all of the draft conditions of approval presented to you this evening. For those of you that might not be familiar with Seafood City, it's a really great story. They started in 1989 in National City, California, which is clear down by San Diego. It is a Filipino market that is primarily serving the Filipino community, as well as other island countries down in the Southeast Asia area there. Supermarket like we're used to seeing, big emphasis on seafood, big seafood counter, and along with other traditional types of meats and other products. I've walked through the store many times, and some of the products I'm just not familiar with because they are actually really truly Filipino products that come, a lot of times they are imported, but there's a lot of manufacturing that goes on here in the States as well. Our request this evening is just simply to be able to inventory some beer, wine, and distilled spirits. Our display area is not very large, but it has we have found that supermarket shoppers want the ability to be able to buy all their products in the same location rather than go to a different location. Inside the store, we have quite a few employees because at the same time there is a bakery that operates all the time. So we have a lot of customers that come in and just to buy baked goods. We also have a little operation called Grill City, which is Filipino cuisine that you can actually eat in the store. Our request is certainly not for any on-site consumption of alcohol. It is intended for our grocery shoppers to take home. And we've gone through kind of our security plan and protocols with Scott and Steve here, and I think that we are of both of the same mind that our protocols and policies should prevent any type of nuisance or public safety concerns. So with that, I'm available for any questions. I do want to add the chain started in 1989 in National City. They now have 22 stores in the state of California. The nearest store would probably be, there's a store in Santa Clarita, Panorama City, and North Hills. So that might be the closest stores here. Irvine, this greater San Diego area, they actually have stores in Las Vegas, Seattle, and some other places that have quite a bit of large Filipino communities. So with that, I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Rollins. At this time, members may ask questions of the applicant and staff. Commission? Vice Chair Stewart.
None.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, Commissioner Nash.
Thank you, Chair. A couple of things. I'm still confused. Will there be on-site consumption of food?
Food, yes, there could be, or it's takeout.
Okay, but
Most of it's takeout usually.
But not alcohol.
Correct. No alcohol.
Alcohol will not be allowed to be consumed on premises.
Correct.
Okay, very good. So this will be the only store of its type in Ventura County then?
Essentially, I think there's some smaller,
Mom and pop type stores.
but this is a pretty large store, 37,000 square feet. So I'm sort of concluding that you'll see folks from Camarillo and Ventura coming to your community to shop.
Because I was a little worried about the location, but it seems like you'll be able to attract a lot of traffic from the 101, so.
Yeah, I think that was part of the reason for the location is because they are somewhat of a regional draw. And so making it easy to get on and off the freeway is real important when you're expecting customers from Camarillo, Ventura, et cetera.
Okay, well, great. I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. Any other commissioners? Thank you. Commissioner Chavez.
Thank you, Chair. I apologize. I'm trying to look through papers. The internet's not working for me right now. So the location that you guys are going into is the old Babies R Us, correct?
Correct.
And are you guys doing any interior modifications to either make it smaller or you're keeping the same square footage?
So we are going to be we've leased the entire 37,000 square feet. Within our store, as I mentioned, there's kind of a bakery that is owned and operated by Seafood City. There is also this Grill City operation, which is a food service operation, again, owned and operated. There are times in which they will also provide a bank inside, like most of the time it's a Filipino-style bank, and on the floor plan you see kind of an extra box, and there is an entrance and exit into the store as well as typically from the outside there as well. So there might be some other another subtenant, so to speak, but again, it's all under the control of Seafood City.
How many employees do you anticipate of having?
Well, overall, at any given shift, there's going to be like 40 or 50 people there. I mean, it's a large operation. And again, when you add the food service and the bakery, you have, cooks and preparers. Our seafood counter is crazy busy. And so we have a lot of employees back there. And then, of course, you have your cashiers and managers and so on and so forth. So it's got a lot of staff members compared to other grocery stores of the same size. And most of our employees will essentially be, local people.
Compared to the North Hills one, because I am familiar with the Seafood City, because this is the one off of Roscoe and I want to say Woodman.
Is it Nordhoff? I think it's on Nordhoff.
I kind of want to say Woodman and Roscoe.
Well, I can look.
I used to be a bus driver in the Valley, and I could have sworn I saw it over there, but compared to that size to this one, would this one be a larger location versus that one, or is that one still pretty large?
I believe that this might be a little bit larger. I think that store is in the 25,000 to 30,000 square foot range, someplace in there. But I please don't hold me to that. I'm going off the top of my head. But the store size range, I just did one in Anaheim. They opened up one in Anaheim, and we were about 35,000 square feet. So somewhere in the 30,000 range is what they like to have their store sizes be.
Okay, I appreciate that. For staff, I know in the conditions of approval, page 12, the now deleted condition 26, it says, it's talking more in regards to the displays, banners, signs. Are we anticipating that the store won't have any of those displays and that's why we're removing it? Or we're saying that because it's not a convenience store, they no longer, that condition is no longer relevant?
Thank you, Commissioner Chavez. In a typical convenience store setting, it's operated by 1 or 2 employees and a very small site where we're going to have the employees have full view of the activity in the store. So the tall displays are all on the walls, and you have a clear sight line over any 48-inch tall display. And that condition was inadvertently left into the standard conditions for this applicant, and that's why it was redacted.
Sounds good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Chavez. Any other commissioners? Thank you. I have a couple questions. I see, unless my site has gone a little bit bad, that there is going to be the Grill City, at least in the floor plans. I wanted to know, just in general, do you intend, I guess it's a two-part question, could the alcohol section be larger in the future? And in addition to that question, could you reorient the store that you'll have a Grill City and other types of restaurants within? I know that there's been a Chowking or a Jollibee that might be located within, so I just wanted to know what your plans are for possible reorientation of the floor plan. More, and if you could prioritize speaking on the alcohol display, if any, if that would change.
Traditionally, our stores carry not more than, say, 3 to 4 shelving units. Shelving units are roughly 4 feet by roughly 2 feet deep, and so the alcohol display is typically very, very minimal. And I haven't seen many stores go through. They don't typically change locations of where the merchandise is unless they're doing a complete overhaul of the store. And considering that this store is a brand new store, it's more of a prototype that they're using. So I wouldn't anticipate in the future that there would be any changes in the location or the amount of display area toward any one particular product, including the alcohol.
Thank you, appreciate that answer. With no questions from me, we will go to public comment. Madam Secretary, is there any public comment for this item?
We have no comments.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, I will close the hearing to public comment. Are there any closing remarks from staff?
No.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll move on to deliberation. Commission, what's your pleasure?
Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Chavez.
I just want to make a couple of comments that I think it's a great project to go into this space. It's better than having what we currently have, pitch black, overgrown weeds, and who knows what actually goes over there. So I think it's a great project. It's a great use for the area. We do have, now this might be old information, but there is a large Filipino population in Linwood, which is, not that far. It's down the street from, not down the street, but it's down Rose Avenue. And being able to have an option to be able to get authentic foods, a place to even potentially hang out, have a meal, I think is a great use for the area. And seeing how this area is slowly starting to fill up all the spaces on that property, I think it's a good benefit. And it's in a prime location right there off the 101. So anybody that's driving by can easily hop off and then get to the shop. From my experience from the Valley of seeing the City Seafood or Seafood City, it's always busy. There's always a lot of cars. So I think it's going to be a huge benefit, especially since we're going to most likely get people from other cities coming and visiting us. And because it's going to be larger than the one in the Valley, that's even a larger thumbs up for us. So I could definitely support this project, and I encourage my fellow colleagues to do the same. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Chavez. Any other, Commissioner Nash?
Listen, are you kidding me? Grill City and Lumpia? I'm there. So I don't think there's too much more deliberation, and I will recommend that we find the project to be categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA, and adopt resolution 2023-XX, approving the special use permit. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. It has been moved to find the project to be category exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA guidelines, section 15301, and adopt resolution 2023-XX approving planning and zoning permit number 22-510-03, subject to certain findings and condition. I'm going to use my prerogative as chair to ask the Commissioner Nash intend to put the addendum that staff recommended, or would you like to do that in a separate motion?
I apologize for leaving that out. My motion was intended to include the staff's addendum.
Okay, thank you. And it will include, the motion from Commissioner Nash will include staff's recommendation in regards to the changes to resolution, section 1, part 4, and condition of approval 17, 26, 29, and 46. Is there a second on this motion? Seconded by Commissioner Dr. Lopez. Is there any further deliberation on this motion? Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
Aside from seconding, I just wanted to add my echo the sentiments from the fellow commissioners and just say how excited I was to see you all choosing Oxnard to bring your business to our community. As Commissioner Chavez said, we have a rather large and diverse, not only Filipino, but Pacific Islander and other API communities, but like Commissioner Nash said, who does not love a good other option here? I think of like it being similar to what Vallarta's is for us here in Ventura County, giving you the option to carry out food. And so just cannot be more excited that you all have chosen here. We have an even larger Filipino community across Ventura County. And so being right there, right off the freeway exit on Rose, could not be a better location for you all. So I'll say to you all what I've said to other applicants, business applicants in the past, and just wish you great success, because your success is our success here in Oxnard. And so just thank you. And like Commissioner Chavez said, encourage all our commissioners to support this as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Dr. Lopez. And I'd like to highlight the comments from Commissioner Chavez that this property has been vacant for a little bit of time. I think some members of the public were wondering if it was going to be subdivided because it was hard to get someone who could use that great space. And I think this project, this business would be perfect for this location, just based on my own family's repetitious times to seafood cities throughout the areas. And so I think for better or for worse, where we won't have to plan a day and a half to get through LA traffic, because it is, I think, a mile away from our house. So, and for the better or for worse, the worst is facetious, for the record. So, is there any further deliberation from the commission? Seeing and hearing none, Madam Secretary, can we please have the roll call?
Commissioner Nash,
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez,
Aye.
Commissioner Chavez,
Aye.
Commissioner Sealsworth, Vice Chair Stewart,
Yes.
Chair Arejo,
Aye.
motion passes.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. We will now move on to agenda item F3, Vita Live Planning and Zoning Permit number 22-520-03, Special Use Permit 663 South Oxnard Boulevard, a request to allow former nightclub El Tapatio nightclub to reopen and operate as a nightclub and comedy center that will include live entertainment and the sales of general alcohol, including spirits for on-site consumption, ABC license type 48, on sale general public place within an existing 3,000 square foot vacant tenant space that is located at 663 South Oxnard Boulevard within the downtown core zone and the Hobson Park East neighborhood. Standard hours of alcohol sales and consumption are from 7 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. The facility proposes to operate Monday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. Filed by Fernando Garcia on behalf of Bardo Garcia, city staff on this item, Juan Carlos Torres, associate planner. Does staff want to provide a summary or additional analysis at this time?
No, not at this time, but we're available for any questions, and also the applicant is here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Torres. I apologize, did you say the applicant was here to present? Okay, thank you. If the applicant could come and present, you'll have 10 minutes.
Good evening, Planning Commission. My name is Fernando Garcia, and I am representing Boulevard and 7th Corporation, doing business as Vida Live in downtown Oxnard. I just want to say how excited we are to bring this new business to downtown Oxnard, in the old historic building of El Tapatio on the corner of 7th and 8th Street, 7th and Oxnard Boulevard. We will be planning events such as stand-up comedy shows, karaoke, open mic nights, and different styles of music for live entertainment, salsa classes, even theater shows. We will also be collaborating with nonprofit organizations such as Animo Theater Company and In La Quech Cultural Arts Center from Oxnard. And since we are part of the fabric of this city, we just plan to make the city of Oxnard proud of us and the new business that we're bringing to downtown. If you have any questions, I can answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. At this time, members of the commission may ask questions of the applicant and/or staff. Commission. Yes, Commissioner Chavez.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question. I understand that this is supposed to be like a nightclub, stand-up comedy, multi-use.
Yeah, multi-event center.
I must have missed it. Is there food?
Yes, well, we'll be having, since it's an original 48 location with no kitchen, the environmental health has provided us to be a restaurant serving cold food. Since we have fridges to serve cold food, so we'll be serving ceviches, cóctel de camarones, chips and salsa, cold sandwiches, from that nature. So yeah, it'll be a cold restaurant.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Chavez. Anyone else? None more at this time. Madam Secretary, are there
Chair-
any? Yeah,
Chair.
Commissioner Nash, yes.
Can I ask staff a question?
Certainly.
Thank you. Now, in reviewing this, I think I understand that the food requirement for an alcohol permit, but it just seems like a difficult proposition to fulfill. And I understand the need because it's to prevent patrons from becoming, too inebriated. But how do we move forward from this? I mean, is it something that we're always going to have to deal with? Because this seems like a difficult proposition for the business to fulfill that food requirement, and I'm a little concerned about that. So does staff have any opinion on the matter? I understand the reasoning, so I don't need to hear that. But it's like, is it something that we always have to be, that we always have to hold the downtown businesses under?
Commissioner Nash, the way the downtown code was drafted or ultimately adopted, the code required 4 nightclubs and bars to have that restaurant requirement. So that was the city's essentially direction at that point in time, was that they wanted to ensure that the bars and the nightclubs had food. I believe that was also partially intended to ensure that the businesses downtown, that there was a activity downtown at all times, as opposed to just a nightclub use where it's only going to be open kind of during those limited hours. You'd have constant activity in that downtown area as you try to revitalize the downtown area and bring more activity there. So I think that was kind of a combination of reasons, but at this point in time, yes, the downtown code does have that as a requirement. So all businesses downtown would be subject to providing the restaurant use.
Now, what is the penalty for the business if they fail to? Is it a 50% of their sales have to be food?
So for this business in particular, they have a 20% requirement.
Okay.
And so that does vary, and maybe Scott and Steve can add some more detail to how the changes, or what the changes would be, but the downtown code in particular just requires that they do provide food service as part of their business.
I mean, even at 20%, I anticipate it being difficult to sell enough sandwiches to equal 20%, 20% of the total revenue. So I am a little concerned about that. Now, if the business fails to show that it meets that 20%, then what is the protocol? That the police department has to look at it, or is it an automatic revocation?
No, it would not be automatic. We work in a compliance mode where we would work with the business operator to find ways to meet that 20% requirement, such as modifying their business model with different kinds of foods or different times of operation. Right now, I believe the Garcia family is looking at evening hours for most of their operation, but if they, slip significantly under 20%, we would go, well, why do you think about some operations during the midday with a different population? And there's a lot of opportunity there, not just nighttime activities. So there's flexibility. We're going to be seeking compliance and not cutting them off at the knees.
Right.
We want the business to thrive.
Thank you. Yeah, and the business originally was Original Cocktails and Dancing, the only one probably in the city of Oxnard still, which is a 48, has no kitchen. So it was just an event center, kind of like the Performing Arts Center, where people go see an event. There's drinks with no food, and you just make sure the people, the staff there are responsible servers, and that everybody has a good time and sees the show. But we plan to do different events and have either catered food or serve food from there. So.
Yeah, and I do appreciate, the city willing to work with the establishment, because it's not in anybody's best interest to impose regulations that are so onerous that we drive these businesses out of downtown. Is just my personal opinion. So thank you for that.
It's really hard to run these businesses, especially in downtown right now, that there's taco trucks on every corner right now. So we're competing literally against everybody on the street. So, but we're gonna try our hardest and comply with everything that they're asking.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. Commissioner Zilsdorf.
Yes, just out of curiosity, do you happen to have like some type of projected income just to see the economic impact of your business to the city?
Ooh, not at this moment. The capacity is only about 160 people, and depending on how many events we do during the month, we're not going to be like doing comedy shows. We're going to try to really plan them out, really synchronize and strategize them so they can be profitable, each one. So we're hoping to make money, we're hoping for them to be successful, all the events, but it will be difficult. But we have no projected at this moment.
Is that all, Commissioner Zilsdorf? Yes. Okay, no
Yes, I'm
problem.
sorry.
Thank you, Commissioner Zilsdorf. Commissioner Chavez.
Thank you, Chair. Just thinking about a couple of other things. Mr. Swanson, where the city is willing to step in and assist the applicant at any time, when is the percentage that we're going to actually step in? I know they have to be at that 20%, but are we going to allow them to get down to 15, 16, 12? What's the limit where we actually step in and say, hey, we need to assist?
Historically, we haven't just dealt with the alcohol percentage on itself. There needs to be some other indicators. We look at things like the place of last drink report, where, is this business generating DUIs in the community? Are there disturbances there? It's not that's the only thing we're looking at that we've, flags the business for our attention for some type of alcohol audit. So we usually don't ask that question until we get a red flag. And when we get that, we want to work with them to come into compliance, make sure that all their servers and managers are responsible beverage service trained, that they have proper security measures in place, and that if they need any guidance in what could make their business better, we work with them. That's the goal, compliance.
Okay. I probably already know the question to this, or the answer to this question, but there's no way for us to be able to change that 20%, right, Mr. Pearson? Or Swanson, whoever.
I'm sorry,
feels-
Swenson.
Swenson, sorry.
That was a figure that we calculated based on a police department, management level discussion. This is not the only business that has the 20%, point. This is the second business that's had a permit process for this level, and I think that, again, we'll work through it. I would urge against changing it downward, just in the sense of we want to see how these businesses operate with that percentage point and see if it does need tweaking. If it does, then we can deal with that. Mr. Pearson, would that be a minor mod if we want to make some changes down the road?
We could potentially do it via an administrative route or return it back to the commission, just depending on what the scale of the changes were.
Okay.
If I can add to it a little bit, one of our big concerns is the DUI generation, and there are some studies out there that indicate that police departments only catch 1 out of every 200 DUIs. So if we end up getting a business that's producing 3 or 4 during a calendar year, that's a significant number of DUIs, and we need to deal with that. And we do have some businesses that are at that level. I'm happy to say that Mr. Garcia's business does not fall into that category right now, his other business that he operates. And we do keep an eye on that. When that flag comes up, then we start talking to them and try to help them toward compliance.
Now, I don't know if you would know or if Corporal Ramirez would know, what is the issues with the homeless in this area, and what has been put into place to prevent them bringing this negative attention to the business? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll let Corporal Ramirez deal with that. He just came from working that assignment, and he is an expert.
Yeah, it's really bad.
So within the previous 3 years, there was special funding for the downtown area specifically related to addressing homeless issues, not just specifically enforcement and arresting people and giving them citations, but offering them different services, right? Shelter, places to frequent, resources, getting identifications, identifying if there's any veterans out there. So it was all encompassing. Well, that money has gone away, but the downtown as well as the homeless liaison unit, which is still active, continually within the downtown area. I don't want to say unfortunately, but we do have the rescue mission and other resources that are located within our downtown, right? So there will always be a presence, specific, especially since we're going to develop a new shelter down here on 2nd Street. There will always be a presence of homeless within the downtown area, but it's the vagrants that we're concerned about. There hasn't been much recent crime associated with vagrancy. There are certain crimes of drinking in public and probably some drug usages in a park or in an alley. But there haven't been major incidents of violent assaults or anything occurring in that immediate area. In the night times, there will be certain incidents. The homeless that don't want to go into the shelters and hang out in the alleyways where nobody can really see them. There may be instances where they may frequent the area where his business is located, but with the proper security that he's going to maintain, there shouldn't be an issue at that location. He does have other businesses. His family does have other businesses in the immediate area. You have the Miramar restaurant as well as the Corner Pocket Billiards. Well, they haven't been any major problems or any homeless related issues within the recent past. So they've done a good job of that. And I think that him just being in contact with the downtown security, who are on, most of the evening hours till about 10 or 11 at night, as well as the police department, it should deter any of that presence there and then make for a good business model for him.
I appreciate that, Corporal. And you said a word that I probably should have used was the vagrancy, because I think that was more my focus, the vagrancy versus the homeless component. So I appreciate you touching on that. The last question that I have, and either one of you guys can answer it, is in terms of how do we differentiate drunk driving from an establishment or a drunk driver that just so happens to be driving through the area and gets into an accident nearby?
So there's an annual report that used to come out from the county that we generate now called the Place of Last Drink Report. In fact, I submitted it earlier this morning for 2022. And literally, I've been the one that's handled that, and I review all the face sheets of the DUI reports to determine whether the arresting officer gets information from the arrestee where they had their last drink. And if they indicate that it's a ABC licensed business, then that gets documented for future use in the report.
That's good to know. I was not aware of that, but so thank you for that information. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Chavez. Any other, Vice Chair Stewart?
For me, alcohol licenses are always kind of hard. I remember back in my day, we were like number 3 in the state for DUIs. And I can also remember that general location, going to a lot of fights on Saturday nights and Friday nights. But I'm also a big-time supporter of the downtown. I know we need to build it up. I've read through the report, and I've seen the security and so forth. I also understand the need for food, and I know that normally that threshold is higher. Question, are there any other models that I can compare that are at that 20% cold food? Not familiar.
The other business is at 20% has yet to open. It was administratively approved, about a month or 2 months ago, Mr. Pearson? Mighty Axe.
Yeah, yes, that was approximately 2 months ago when that one was approved up in the River Park area.
Okay, thank you.
And I got one more thing to add, Mr.
Okay.
Sir, is that there is a larger scale business model, and we can call it Levity Live Copper Blues.
Yes.
So his will be a smaller version of that, a proposed version of that. And Levity Live Copper Blues do certain things to maintain that food percentage level, as in you must purchase a minimum amount of food and alcohol. They offer brunches on the weekends, which add to the food sales amount. So there is a model that you can go look at.
Yeah.
And they've been good. They've been addressing their 51%, which is needed. And they're, with our compliance efforts, those other businesses, their activity involving any violence or anything has significantly dropped from when they first opened. But I think he has a model that he can look at up there at the collection.
Okay. When you say that it's been good, I guess my question to you is this. I know as we approach the holidays, they were having some major issues up there in the collection in that general area. When you say good, that's changed and it's reversed itself?
In the most recent time, and I can say for the past 6 to 8 months, there's been very minimal activity up at the collection involving the alcohol establishments. No major incidents, as in fights or anything associated with
Stabbings and
that.
so forth?
No.
Okay.
If anything, there's some things that are associated, that are not associated with the business specifically, but within the collection itself.
Okay. And then I know that there was another establishment when I was previously on the Planning Commission that was having a lot of problems. Now it has since then reversed itself. And so it is my thought, because they had better management. So it is my thought that, I've read this, it looks good. I want to support this. And I know that the chief has the ability to shut it down if there's a problem.
Yeah.
if I guess it gets really bad. So I just bring those things up because I just want to make sure that we're on track and we're going to make things work.
Yes, we're investing in downtown. Our family's committed to try to make downtown as safe as possible, and we want revitalization of downtown. We want people to come to downtown and feel safe. And, you know, even earlier today, I called the police department because an empty location right next to the building where they are squatters in there, you know, of homeless people. And we just need to work together with the police department and with us to help repair the city, you know. So we're here to help and to make the city of Oxnard better. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Stewart. Any further questions from the commission? Seeing none, I will move to public comment, and I will start with the signed up people listed from before this meeting or during. The first person who signed up was Mr. Miguel Orozco. Madam Secretary, is that person here or online? Thank you.
I don't see anybody online.
Okay. Mr. Orozco, if you can hear me, the meeting ID is at the bottom of I believe both the Zoom and on the TV channel, wherever you're viewing it, 851-6715-830, passcode 510605. I'll repeat that again after the next person. I'll try to give you as much time as possible while the hearing is open. The next person, Mr. Javier Gomez.
Okay, I'd just like to say thank you very much. I appreciate everything, and I'm a United States Armed Forces veteran, infantry veteran, and I'm just letting you know we're going to run a tight ship and make the city of Oxnard proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia, and you'll have another opportunity to last comment after public comment. Mr. Javier Gomez, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Planning Commission. It's a distinct honor to be here. My name is Javier Gomez. I reside in the city of Oxnard at 632 West Guava Street. And also I'm the director and artistic founder of the Enlakich Cultural Arts Center. And obviously, I have all the homeless around my center, the Enlakich Center on 5th Street. So, you know, I'm constantly calling on support from the police department to help assist, you know, our people in great need. And so, but on behalf of Fernando, and I have to let you know, he's one of my former students that I had at Haydock Intermediate School, and his sister and his whole family. So I've known them over the years to be really upstanding and forthright individuals and very involved in our community and making sure that our youth are provided with the opportunities to be successful. So I know that his plan to open up, when he told me about his comedy night, to create something that is beautiful and wonderful, I said, oh, definitely, I'll come and support you because I believe very much in the arts. Those of you that know me, I've been providing free service to our community in the arts for the last 50 years, and I've seen a lot of different changes where there's been businesses. Obviously, when I came in, there was about 13 or 14 bars that were running all over the Rampant area of Oxnard. Thank goodness, I'm a strong believer that alcohol is not the focus, and when he told me that he wanted to invite us to come into his center, to come in and do showcases by bringing in our youth into an establishment that used to be a bar, to me, El Jarabe Tapatío or El Tapatío, it's a dance. And so it is my honor to come back to a place to support a person who really wants to provide something artistic, something spiritual, uplifting for our community to feel good about itself. I'm dedicated to our city in providing the arts to have our community say, that's beautiful, that's wonderful. And for the last 50 years, our center has always served as an ambassador for the city of Oxnard, going throughout Ventura County, performing on behalf of our city, showcasing the wonderful work that our people are doing in the city. So I'm here to support a program that yes, it's going to be a bar, but at the same token, I see there's great opportunities that he's going to create for our community to have a showcase event, to be able to see theater, to hear comics come into our city, and what better way to make us all feel good about ourselves. And yes, I'm concerned about, having that the food problem is an issue, but they're great people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Madam Secretary, do we have Mr. Orozco online? While you're checking.
We do not.
Okay. Mr. Orozco, again, meeting ID 851-6715-830, passcode 510605. We'll move on to our next person who signed up, Mr. Tony Garcia, if you're here in person. Thank you.
Good
You
evening,
have
Planning
3 minutes.
Commission. My name is Tom Garcia, owner of Tomas Cafe. And he is my neighbor, the Garcia family. I've been gracious enough to get to know them and to be part of the community with them. And I truly believe that they are a vital asset to downtown. They provide a service, a great service to, and they know their target market, the Latino community. And throughout the years, I've seen them handle their business, and they bring in, all the families and great customers, and they provide a great service to the community. The billiard hall, I don't know if it's one of the largest in Ventura County, but it's packed every Saturday night, and people need, especially now, they need an outlet. A lot of people in a family budget outlet. So the Billiards provides that, and they provide that responsibly. So I wish all you guys to join them and to stop by on your time off, on the weekends, come to downtown, visit downtown, get to familiarize yourself with what we have in downtown, and any suggestions, make it better. I wish the public out there to come and support the downtown. I've been in business 23 years, and I'm not going anywhere, and I wish them well. The corner of 7th and Oxnard Boulevard has been closed for many years, and it's a very visible part of the city of Oxnard. People drive by there every day, and there's nothing going on. So I applaud them, and I wish them much success, and I want that place packed and people from all over the community to come support it and have a good time. Just have a good time, especially now during these trying times. Just have a good time on the weekend and, support it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. I'm going to ask one more time from the Madam Secretary if you see someone online.
I do not.
Okay. I'm going to use my prerogative as chair, and if there's any objection, please let me know too, since I know that he was been trying to get in and he signed up before. I'm going to go into a 3-minute recess for him to attempt to contact us. If there's any objection, please let me know at this time. Seeing and hearing none, we'll go into a 3-minute recess. Thank you. The meeting will come back to order. We were successful, and Mr. Miguel Orozco is online. Madam Secretary, if you could unmute him or have him unmute. I believe it's star, okay. Mr. Orozco, thank you for joining us. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chair. Dear Planning Commission and public, my name is Miguel Orozco. I'm the Artistic Director for Animo Theater Company, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the Garcia family. Fernando and his family are wonderful people, model citizens who I've known now for over 6 years, and they've helped our nonprofit Animo Theater Company grow. Recently, Fernando Garcia was in the production of El Bracero, and he did an outstanding job. And one of the things that I like to share with everyone is his commitment to helping the stories from our communities to reach all of the different types of individuals and different races and backgrounds, and just very positive message, very positive energy that Fernando and his family bring to events, and how they conduct themselves, and just wonderful people. So we're honored to be invited to be part of or have the opportunity to stage events there at this venue when it's ready. We have a lot of experience in staging shows in Oxnard. Recently, we staged El Bracero, a mariachi musical. We partnered with the La Quech Cultural Center, and we had over 800 people attend at the performance at the Oxnard PAC, and Fernando was part of that cast for that. So I'm just here to endorse this whole plan that he has. This venue, I know, will be of great benefit for the community, and we will support him. And our cast and our crew, we're about over 30 people, and we've all gotten to work together as a family. I'm very proud of Fernando because he's also a veteran, and it's something that he always shares with the younger folks that we work with. So in our theater company, we have all different ages and backgrounds, and Fernando's always been a leader in all of this. So, and his family, his father, they've supported us. So I am I feel very fortunate to finally get on and be able to say these words in support for the Garcia family. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Orozco. Madam Secretary, is there anyone else online?
There is, but their hand is not up, so I'm not sure if they'd like to speak.
Thank you. For the person who just got on or is still on, star 9 to raise your hand. I'll give you a few seconds to do that.
Yep. Church, there it is. I believe she was looking to speak.
Oh.
She's been unmuted.
Okay. You have 3 minutes to speak. If you could, please say who you are for the record, if you'd like.
Thank you very much. This is Deirdre Frank. There was some mention about 20% food satisfaction requirement, and some discussion about comparison to Levity Live and their commencement of a brunch in order to meet that quota. This place that you're talking about tonight has a cold food kitchen, so I don't know what kind of brunch you can serve with cold food. There was also some comparison to performances and activities that are conducted at the PAC, but the PAC has no bar. This place is a bar with some entertainment. which, frankly, I think is a wonderful idea. I'm all for this guy and I'm all for downtown, but you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. It's a cold food kitchen. Brunch is not going to be an option. And the pack is no comparison because it has no bar and no food. The thing that you haven't talked about is the words that the applicant brought up, and that's catering kitchen. I think it was the applicant. In order to have a catering company come in to this environment, what requirements are necessary for that? Is that a special use permit kind of function, or is that something that he's going to subcontract? And is there some certification of the catering kitchen that has to come in order to be compliant with what you're doing here tonight? So those were my concerns, and I hope you'll ask those questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Frank. And seeing that there are no other people in person or online, I'm going to ask if the applicant wishes to respond to any of the public comments. Yes, Mr. Garcia.
Yes, on the part of the food and catering, for certain events, we will have catered events also there at the location. And we own a restaurant next door, which can also provide that, or we would go elsewhere to other businesses depending on the types of food or the event and what they would like.
Thank you very much.
Chair?
Commissioner Nash.
And if I could ask Mr. Garcia, and you have no intention of serving a brunch at this restaurant?
Not really.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Nash. At this time, I'll close the hearing to public comment. Are there any closing remarks from staff?
Not at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. We will now move on to deliberation. Commission. Vice Chair Stewart.
I just want to correct Deidre Frank's remark. I'm on the board of directors for the Performing Arts Center, and we do have a double bar inside the theater part of there. Just information.
Thank you, Vice Chair Stewart. Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
Thank you. I just want to say that I very much appreciate the concerns expressed about the 20% threshold for food. And as our police department mentioned during the presentation, it's a threshold that they are going to try along with another, another business here to test it, to see how it goes. In terms of the more limited options, I think I'm excited about all the ceviche options that I'm sure you guys will offer, because there's so many different variations and varieties of it. And it's very, very popular, an easy dish, to certainly serve cold along with other seafood and mariscos. So that being said, about appreciating the concerns over the low threshold, I have to say that I certainly do appreciate and I celebrate entrepreneurship, especially for small family-owned businesses, and especially for Latino businesses. And you as a veteran, my deep respects to you for what you've done for your service to our country, and what you're trying to do to support our business or our environment here in downtown. I love the part about the nonprofit partnerships. It's something that I haven't heard much or have seen in my time here on the Planning Commission. Certainly partnering with Animo Productions, very familiar with Miguel Orozco, who spoke today in his work, the Bracero program, which first premiered here in Oxnard and has now gone to travel to other parts of the state. But it started in many respects, I think, inspired by the families of Oxnard. And then, of course, also having Mr. Gomez with his incredible dedication to the youth and the arts for decades, and his nonprofit in La Quech, and opening your doors to your venue for them to do all sorts of programming. I really do like that, and it's unique to perhaps a small number of applicants that have come, at least on my time here on the Planning Commission. I also very much appreciated the police departments and the city's willingness to support the business if there is an issue that would, say was to arise. I very much appreciate, again, like the comments that were shared here during the hearing of working with the businesses to make the necessary adjustments for the business to thrive. I look at that building, a historical, beautiful building, and the fact that it's been closed since late 2019, right before the pandemic. I have to say, I appreciate you all taking a keen interest in opening it up, in trying to bring new opportunities, whether it's to recreate, with the nightclub or the bar that it will be at times, but then also what other programming it may offer our families and our youth in Oxnard. So all that being said, I feel very comfortable supporting the applicant, and like I did with the previous item, would also encourage my fellow commissioners to support it as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Dr. Lopez. Commissioner Chavez.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say real quick that for years we have heard about, and you can go ask any business owner or anybody that's been involved with downtown for many years, that there's always been visions or discussions for revitalizing, for improving. A couple of business owners will even say that there's like 6 different master plans to revitalize downtown, and we haven't seen any of them put into play. I believe this is that step in that right direction to revitalize downtown, to bring something new to downtown. We have a lot of families or individuals in the city of Port Hueneme, South Oxnard, Central Oxnard, that don't always like to go to North Oxnard because, 1, it's crowded, 2, all the traffic. I try to avoid River Park and parts of North Oxnard on certain days, Friday, Saturday, to avoid the traffic. If I can go somewhere close by in downtown, so be it. It's a benefit. Of course, like Dr. Lopez, Commissioner Dr. Lopez, and his comments in regards to the cooperation, partnerships with nonprofits, I think it's a great thing. It gives an opportunity for showcasing talent, homegrown talent, because it's our community members. And it is a step in the right direction to actually see something happen. When you go through, if anyone's ever walked Oxnard Boulevard, it's not the most ideal place to be walking around. It's not Old Town Camarillo. It's not Main Street of Ventura. But if we have those opportunities where business owners or individuals are willing to revitalize and step up and take that lead, I think we're in a good place. The Garcia family have definitely contributed a lot to downtown Oxnard. And this is a cheap plug, but I'll say it anyways. If you have not been to Tomas Cafe, please go and get a burger. I always enjoy the burgers there. But definitely a great addition to the community. And as mentioned by Corporal Ramirez, that the Garcia family have been successful with this running businesses that are responsible and that have been good partners in the community. So, like Commissioner Dr. Lopez, I encourage my colleagues to also support this. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Chavez. Any other members from the commission? I would just like to say that, looking at ABC licenses, one of the primary or priority questions in regards to that is in regards to safety. Just at first glance, looking at the applicant's annual rate, it does appear a little bit higher than in previous ABC licenses that have been presented to the Planning Commission. However, hearing that the other locations that the police have had experience with the owner in regards to how proactive they have been in regards to safety, I think ameliorates any concerns that I certainly have, and I think that the public may have had in regards to this just at first glance. And so, along with my fellow commissioners who already spoke, I encourage my fellow members to also vote to approve the recommended staff action as presented. Thank you. Is there any further comments or deliberation from the commission? Commissioner Chavez.
Seeing and hearing no movement, I'll move staff's recommendation for this item.
Thank you, Commissioner Chavez. It has been moved to find the project to be categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA Guidelines Section 15301, existing facilities, and adopt Resolution 2023-XX approving planning and zoning permit number 22-520-03, special use permit subject to certain findings and conditions. Is there a second? Commissioner Dr. Lopez seconds. Is there any further deliberation? Seeing and hearing none, Madam Secretary, can you please have the roll call?
Commissioner Chavez?
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez?
Aye.
Commissioner Nash?
Aye.
Commissioner Sealsworth?
Aye.
Vice Chair Stewart?
Aye.
Chair Arejo?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much and congratulations. Moving past Section G, study session reports with none there. Going on to Section H, Planning Commission business. Is there any business report from the Planning Commission? Members, Commissioner Chavez.
Thank you, Chair. I'll just say real quick that this week is Read Across America week. It's an opportunity to highlight the importance of reading. I do so with my children every night, but right before they go to bed, and then when it's time to go to bed, they say, no, another book, but what they really want is the TV. I'll also reiterate, I know I said this multiple times before, but Metrolink every Saturday and Sunday, kids ride free. We also have monthly passes for a very low cost. And there is the code share between Amtrak and Metrolink, so you'll always have a train to get to and from LA County or any part of the Southern California region. And with that, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Chavez. Commissioner Nash.
Thank you, Chair. A couple of items. First, I want to offer my apology for misspeaking on the digital billboard agenda item about, I believe I said the city was flush with cash, and it turns out that I was misinformed. So I want to apologize to the Planning Commission and to the staff and to the public. I still can't support the digital billboards, but the city apparently is always in need of money. So I can understand why the city would want to have these things erected. The next item is people have come up to me, and I've heard many people say, well, why can't we get a Trader Joe's in Oxnard or downtown? But if given the choice between and I shop at Trader Joe's, I have no problem with Trader Joe's. But if offered the choice between a seafood city and a Trader Joe's, I would have to choose the seafood city because that just, it just adds to our diversity. And Oxnard's strength will always lie in our diversity. So I'm really happy that they chose our city to put their first establishment in Ventura County. The last item, and I just want to bring this forward to the Planning Commission and see if we can come to some kind of agreement. But a lot of times, on a lot of occasions, a land acknowledgement to the first people, to the Chumash, is offered. So I would like to see if we can't include that in our opening documents. It can be a very simple single sentence, but I think it's important to acknowledge the Chumash and their elders. So that's really something that I would like the Planning Commission to consider and address at some point in the future. And that's all for right now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. Commissioner Zelsdorf.
Yes, I would like to invite everybody for the Women's Day celebration. Is it the time to say this right now? Yeah, okay, sorry. I was confused for a while. All right, and this would be on March 11th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., and it's at the Canyon in OPAC. So there's going to be some spa treatment, nails, hair, all that other stuff, and vegan food. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Zelsdorf. Vice Chair Stewart.
I just want to add to what Commissioner Chavez said about the Amtrak and the Metrolink. We flew to Sacramento on Sunday, and instead of driving down and fighting all that traffic, and with the weather you didn't know what you were going to get, we caught the Amtrak down to Burbank, and it was fabulous. And then when we flew in and landed, we jumped on the Metrolink and shot right back up to Oxnard. So, kudos for that, something people should think about. And then the other thing that Commissioner Nash said, and people ask me, well, why don't we have this and why don't we have that? Folks, we don't make that choice. In other words, if the landlord or the owner wants to come in and build something, then we can consider that. But we don't have a fishing net to come in there and bring things into this city. It's what's presented before us.
Thank you, Vice Chair Stewart. I have a couple. I want to thank the Madam Secretary for her furious efforts during the recess in getting public comment. We try to encourage people to have public comment, and so it's unfortunate that there happened to be that mistake. I was planning to call the person, but you already beat me to that, so I wanted to thank Madam Secretary for that. And the second item is for District 6, there is a special election happening this upcoming Tuesday, March 7. If you happen to live in the western portion of South Oxnard, you should have received your ballot already. If you're not registered, you can always go register for it up to the date of the election. So thank you, and that's all for me. We'll move now on to Section J, Community Development Staff Update. Is there any update from the Community Development staff? Mr. Pearson.
Chair Rejo and Commissioners, so with the inclusionary item being continued to the April 6th date, the March 16th meeting will be canceled. There are no other additional items for that meeting. So you guys will have that day off. And then just in relation to, there's a lot of discussion today about downtown and some of the downtown projects. So I just wanted to highlight, obviously across the street from City Hall, the navigation or the Second and B project is currently under construction. So you'll see that one going up. They're starting to go vertical, so that will be an exciting one to watch. And then also the Central Terrace project, if anyone hasn't driven by that one is also going vertical at this point in time. So it's really starting to kind of show the scale of these buildings, and you're really gonna start seeing some of the revitalization downtown by bringing additional people. In addition to these projects, a number of the downtown projects have also been submitted into plan check. So both the Sandpiper project, which is a 56 unit project, which is actually right next to the Navigation Center building in the old, I believe it's old bank building. That project is also in building plan check right now. There's a building directly behind the Navigation Center building, which is the Urban Lofts project. That one is also in plan check. That one is 20 units. And then there's the C Street Apartments, which is off of C Street. I believe it's 671 or 761 South C Street. And that one's a 175 unit project, which is also in plan check right now. So there's just a lot of projects happening downtown, and we're going to start seeing a lot of these start going vertical, and hopefully start seeing them open and bring more residents to the downtown area. So just wanted to highlight that since we did have a lot of discussion. And like I said, I think keep an eye out because you'll see more of these projects happening. All right, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson. In regards to the billboards, will they be on the March 21 City Council meeting or in an April City Council meeting?
The commissioners, right now, we are tentatively looking at the March 21st meeting. We're working towards that one at this time.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Pearson. Any questions from the commission? Ms. Roselle, just for wholesome sakes, did you have anything to add? Yeah, thank you, Ms. Roselle. Since there is no further business, the meeting will be adjourned if there is no objection. Seeing and hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Good night and see you in 5 weeks. Goodbye. Thanks.